All right, guys, the Green Bay Packers 2024 season is officially over, but we still have one more PFF breakdown video, and that is in the loss to the Philadelphia Eagles here in the wild card round. Sorry I didn't upload the video yesterday. It was a bit busy yesterday. Anyways, it's a new schedule since it's the off season, so I figured delaying the PFF video one day wouldn't be a massive deal, and I'll probably do the film review for this game tomorrow live in the afternoon. So be on the lookout for that. And then next week, I'll probably release another PFF video just going over the overall grades on the entire season for the Green Bay Packers. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comments, or just leave a like on the video to tell me. A very unfortunate loss, and everything that hurt the Packers earlier in the season reared its ugly head in this game, and really nothing went right for the Green Bay Packers. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So without further ado, let's get into the grades. And first, I'll go over the predictions of the grades, the top three on offense and defense, my predictions at least. I think on offense, I thought Jaden Reed had a really good game before he left with injury. I believe it was a shoulder injury. Tucker Kraft, I thought, was very consistent on offense as a receiver mainly. And then Josh Jacobs, he always ran really well this year in most games, and that was no different in this game, especially that big run to the 1 yard line was massive. As for the defense, I think the top three graded players, I think Edgerrin Cooper also had a phenomenal game. There were a couple times I saw him shoot through the line of scrimmage and make a nice tackle. I think Xavier McKinney had a solid game. I didn't see many passes go his way. The Eagles didn't pass too much, but when they did, they were mainly targeting Carrington Valentine. So I feel like the safeties on the back end did a good job. There was really no deep throws against the Packers there. I think A.J. Brown had like one catch for 10 yards. And then finally, I think Carl Brooks will be up there. When I was watching this game, I saw Carl Brooks have a few pressures against Jalen Hurts. I thought he did a really good job, and I think he's going to be a future starter and great defensive lineman for this Packers defense. All right, so let's bring up the screen, and we'll start on the Packers offense. So again, Reed, Kraft, and Jacobs are my predictions. So let's bring it up. It is Josh Jacobs and Jaden Reed, and I almost went 3 for 3. Tucker Kraft has 3 less points, or 3 less grade points than Rasheed Walker at a 62.9, Walker at a 65.9. I mean, it's crazy the drop off here. You see the two consistent players on offense, mainly being Jacobs and Reed. Jacobs having a wonderful grade because he did play really well. And Reed also a pretty good grade here at a 76.5, then a massive drop off. And everything above 60 is still slightly above average, but there's a lot of below average. And I think it's graded correctly. I think this offense was very below average. And you also got to give credit to the Eagles defense. It's a phenomenal defense, number 1 in the league, and it looked like it. And the Packers didn't do much to combat, or at least try to attack the weak points of that defense. They just did normal dropbacks, not much play action, not many screens, and tried to throw against the number 1 passing defense. Didn't make too much sense to me. Tucker Kraft did have that 62.9. Bo Melton had a 62.8. Dontavian Wicks, I thought he made a couple nice catches there, 61.0, especially that one deep ball on the right sideline. Luke Musgrave, I mean, the fall of Musgrave this year, not only with injury and just not using him, is a head scratcher to me, and I hope they start to implement him going into 2025. Romeo Doubs, 60.1. He didn't have a great game. Malik Heath also had a very rough game. I just saw a tweet saying on Jordan Love's second interception, he ran that route at a wrong depth by like 5 yards. He also slipped on a would-be touchdown. He didn't get his feet down on that 4th down. It was pretty bad. So, we needed wide receivers to step up in this game without Christian Watson, and then without Doubs and Reed in the midway through this game, and they really didn't. Zach Tom, I thought, also had a pretty awful game, probably his worst on the year, so I agree with this grade being below average. His run block grade was poor, his pass block grade slightly above average. He got beat a few times. Chris Brooks, a low grade. Sean Ryan, a low grade. Man, it was rough for this Packers offensive line out there. I mean, a 31.0 pass block for Sean Ryan, man. And Jordan Love, the last interception, kind of just a shot, Hail Mary, like, okay, let's see if we can score quick here. So I'm not going to put that too much on him. But, the first two, the first one, just a 1v1 play. Our guy didn't make the play. Darius Slay did. The second one went right to Zach Bond. So Jordan Love was wildly inconsistent in this game, and hopefully it's a learning lesson for him going into 2025. Josh Myers was pretty poor, left this game with injury, but supposedly is completely fine, Matt LaFleur said. So that's good news. He's a pending free agent here in 2025. Elton Jenkins had a 0 pass block grade. I think the last time I saw that was Josh Myers with a 0. So I guess Elton Jenkins also had a 0, but he got hurt really early in this game, only played 4 snaps. That's probably why it's a 0. And it looked like a pretty bad injury. I think it was a stinger, so hopefully he's all good. Kadeem Telfort came in at left guard after Glover got benched, and Glover was horrible, had 2 straight holds, and then they just benched him. He had a 1.8 pass block grade. Where's Jacob Monk? I have no idea. I feel like that would have been a better option there, but Telfort wasn't that much better at replacing him. And then Emmanuel Wilson, also a low grade. Just to show you guys this, I wanted to look at the passing chart for Jordan Love and just show you that it was crazy that the Packers ran 3 play action plays. Against the defense, it's number 1 passing. So you're coming out most of the time and straight drop back, just letting the defense play coverage, right? You got to threaten with the run, and you don't even have to threaten with the run. Play action statistically works even if you're not running the ball well. And the fact that you only ran 3 play action plays and had 1 completion for 14 yards is honestly malpractice. The Packers need to implement way more under center play action style type of plays, especially when you have someone like Josh Jacobs, a downhill runner, a bruiser back that can be, your single back. You don't always need to be in shotgun. Like when you run play action out of shotgun, it's not that traditional play action, right? Like we're talking PA bootlegs with a slide out wide, a slide receiver backside. Like the Lions run really well against us. The Vikings ran it against us to win the game. And then only 4 screens, I think, is also bad. 4 screens, 4 completions, 36 yards. Should have ran more screens in this game to kind of, keep the Eagles on edge there, kind of test their defense in certain areas, but they didn't do that. They just did simple drop backs for Jordan Love, and it didn't work. All right, so now let's go over the defensive grades for the Green Bay Packers. Again, my predictions for top defensive grades, I have Edgerrin Cooper, Xavier McKinney, and Carl Brooks. Let's get right into it and let's see who's at the top. Carl Brooks is actually at the very top. I didn't think he'd be at the very top. I thought he'd be up there. Edgerrin Cooper at number 2. Javon Bullard at number 3, mainly playing slot cornerback. I thought he had a good game out there, so that's good to see. And X is all the way down at 7, so okay, I'll take it, right? So Carl Brooks an 86.8, did have 3 pressures, 1 tackle, 1 stop. Man, I think he's, going to be a phenomenal player for our defense in the future. He already is a great, rotational guy, but he's definitely going to be a starter in my opinion in the future. Edgerrin Cooper had a pressure. He had 4 tackles, 1 missed, 4 stops, only allowed 2 receptions. Another great game by him. I'm so excited for year 2 of Edgerrin Cooper, and even Javon Bullard and Evan Williams. The Packers really hit on 3 players, starting defensive players in this draft class, and Edgerrin Cooper looks like a star. Colby Wooden 66.5 and had a sack. Enigbare, finally not near the bottom. He has been for the last 5 weeks, had a pressure. Kenny Clark had a pressure, 3 tackles. X didn't have any pressures, but did have 3 tackles and only allowed 1 reception for 9 yards in this game. Again, the pass defense and the defense overall, I thought did a great job in this game. They gave plenty of opportunities for the Packers to go out and take the lead, or go out and win this game, and the offense just didn't show up. Evan Williams at 63.4. Eric Stokes saw 1 snap in this game, so read into that how you will. It seems like Eric Stokes is definitely not coming back, and he's an impending free agent after they pretty much removed him from all lineups the last month. Devontae Wyatt only saw 4 or 5 snaps, but he did go out with an injury. I forget what it was, but he didn't return. Quay Walker, not a great return in terms of PFF grade. Did have a really good tackle rate, had 6 tackles, 0 missed, but PFF wasn't too fond of his run defense here. It's hard to run defend against such a great offensive line and Saquon Barkley, right? Rashawn Gary, 2 pressures and a sack, but poor tackle grade, missed a tackle. Keyshawn Nixon, below average grade. Lucas Van Ness, below average grade, only recorded 2 tackles. Isaiah McDuffie, pretty poor grade, 51.2, had a pressure and no tackles. Carrington Valentine, I was saying this after the game when I got home and doing the live stream, they were picking on Carrington Valentine because he's playing so often, whether that's scheme or whatever Valentine's doing. I mean, they were picking on him on all their timing routes. It was going against Carrington Valentine. And of course, that touchdown to Dallas Goedert where Valentine got stiff-armed into oblivion. I agree with these grades. I thought it was a really rough game from him. So we'll look at coverages after this. He did allow the most receptions on the entire team. TJ Slayton, a very low grade. Need a better game out of him against such a good running offense. And then Eric Wilson only saw 3 snaps, but was the lowest graded player. All right, so now let's dive into coverages. Keyshawn Nixon allowed 1 reception on 4 targets, and it was that one 28-yard catch to Devontae Smith on that deep crosser. I believe it was a broken play. Hurts scrambled out, and it's hard to cover for that long. Carrington Valentine did allow 4 catches for 38 yards. So not a lot of yardage there. The Eagles didn't throw deep, but anytime they needed a timing route, you could see it here. The 10-yard to Goddard. Devontae Smith, 2 timing routes for 18 yards. A.J. Brown, the only catch he had, all against Carrington Valentine, where it'd be a simple, curl route, stop route, out route for, 7 yards, 10 yards every time because he was playing so off back there, probably in a cover 3, just waiting for a deep shot. But, you got to play aggressive at some points, and I wish the Packers, played a little bit more aggressive defense this year overall. Evan Williams allowed 2 catches for 35 yards. Bullard only allowed 2 catches for 4 yards in this game. Same with Edgerrin Cooper, only allowed 2 catches, but for 13 yards. Xavier McKinney allowed 1 catch on Devontae Smith for 9 yards. Isaiah McDuffie allowed 1 catch for 4 yards. So those are all the PFF grades from that ugly game. Packers versus Eagles, losing in the first round of the playoffs. We have a lot of work to do for this football team in this offseason. Hopefully we can add pieces where we need them, add to the weaknesses of this team through hopefully free agency, maybe a trade, and then of course the draft as well. But there is work to be done, but it's a long offseason, and I'm excited for it. Overall, I do like the offseason a lot. I wish the Packers, obviously won that game and we're playing another playoff game this weekend, but that's not the case, and here we are in the offseason. I appreciate you guys coming by to the video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like down below. Again, I'll release the full season grades via PFF for the Packers probably next week. So I appreciate you guys coming by. Reminder to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 at sign up for a 150% deposit match on your first deposit. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.